I never imagined I would become the man who deliberately flooded an entire neighborhood. If someone had told me that 12 years ago, I would have laughed in their face, called them insane, and slammed the door. Yet life has a cruel sense of irony, shoving you into corners you never thought you'd face, forcing choices you never imagined you could make. And now, looking back, I can see how everything, the good, the bad, the little unnoticed moments, led me to that one fateful day. My name is Ethan Calloway. I'm 48 now. Until this storm of chaos hit, I believed I had carved out a little slice of heaven in Silver Pine Valley, high up in Northern California. Mist rolled across the hills, and towering pines swayed like cathedral columns. For over a decade, I had poured my soul into creating a private sanctuary, a man-made pond nestled in a forgotten hollow of the valley, surrounded by dense forest and wildflowers that crept over every stone. I remember the first day I arrived. The land was overgrown, wild, untamed. Most people would have dismissed it as useless. But I saw potential. Hours turned into weeks as I cleared brush, dug channels, shaped banks, and built what would become the pond. At the heart of it, I planted a massive oak tree on day one. I called it the Sentinel, a silent guardian for my creation. Its branches stretched skyward, leaves rustling secrets with the wind. I often imagined it as a silent observer of my life, a friend who never judged. Every morning I'd wake before dawn, slipping into a canoe I had crafted myself, gliding toward the center of the pond. The water mirrored the clouds like polished silver. Fish darted below the surface. Birds wheeled overhead. The world outside, work, obligations, politics, betrayals, felt distant, almost unreal. This pond wasn't just water. It was freedom, redemption, my sanctuary. I needed it. My old life had ended in flames. I had worked as a federal land and water conservation consultant, meticulously reviewing data on wetlands, runoff, and ecological impact. I thought I was making a difference, but one day, a scandal erupted, a bribery case that had nothing to do with me. Yet because my reports exposed certain irregularities, I was scapegoated. Careers were destroyed, reputations obliterated. I lost everything. I cashed out my 401k, bought this remote land, and disappeared. No neighbors, no politics, no intrusions, just me, my pond, and silence. For years, it was pure bliss. Mornings spent repairing my hand-built gates, afternoons reading beneath the Sentinel, evenings watching sunsets bleed gold across the water. I felt untouchable, cocooned in the life I had crafted. Then came the rumble. At first it was faint, the distant growl of machinery like thunder echoing across the valley. I dismissed it. Perhaps a farm expansion miles away. But the noise crept closer. Each week, it grew louder. By October of 2025, the subtle warning became a demand. A letter arrived in my mailbox, addressed to Ethan Calloway from the Silver Pine Homeowners Association. It demanded payment of dues and compliance with community standards. I laughed. Homeowners Association? In Silver Pine Valley? Isolation had been my goal. I had moved here precisely to avoid meddling bureaucrats. Still, curiosity gnawed at me. I fired up satellite maps. And there it was, my pond, digitally hijacked and renamed Silver Pine Reservoir, labeled as a public amenity. Rage simmered under the surface. Days later, they arrived in force. Trucks, machinery, surveyors. Leading them was Victor Kane, HOA president and the very embodiment of predatory entitlement. He strode toward me, tailored suit perfect, smile sharp as a knife. "We're developing 40 luxury estates around our shared reservoir," he announced. "You'll need to comply with community standards." I told him the truth. Every inch of that pond was mine, built by me, paid for by me. He smirked. "You were in federal land management, weren't you? Then you know. Public good trumps private claims." I realized then he knew my past. The scandal, the forced exile. His invasion was precise, surgical, almost personal. Within days, their crews were turning my crystal-clear pond murky with runoff, the water tinged with chemicals. Calls to officials led nowhere. Victor laughed, taunting me, hinting that my hidden past made me vulnerable. I reached out to Sofia Ramirez, a former colleague and formidable attorney. She arrived, meticulously reviewing every document, every map, every county regulation. "This isn't a mere HOA dispute," she muttered. "Victor Kane is exploiting outdated environmental law to orchestrate a land grab. Your pond stands in the way of a multi-million-dollar corporate scheme. Together, we unearthed Summit Estates Corporation, Victor's sprawling empire, quietly acquiring silverpine parcels for years. My pond blocked their Phase 1 plan. 40 high-end waterfront estates with my pond as the centerpiece. Victor escalated further. He staged the Silverpine Fall Festival on my land, turning my sanctuary into a public spectacle. Children splashed in my pond, laughing, while parents picnicked on its banks. I felt fury and helplessness simultaneously. When a 9-year-old boy nearly drowned in the turbulent waters created by their diverted runoff, I rescued him dripping wet. Victor spun it as proof my pond was dangerous and needed professional oversight. My sanctuary had become a zoo. I plotted my response with icy precision. I studied rainfall, pond inflows, emergency drainage channels I had built years before. Every calculation was exact, every step rehearsed. The day of reckoning arrived with a brewing nor'easter. Storm clouds loomed over Silverpine. The festival was in full swing. Music blared, people crowded onto my stolen land. I activated the emergency drainage system. Slowly, deliberately, water began to rise, flooding tents, vehicles, and staging areas. Chaos erupted. Victor's smug grin vanished. From my cabin, I monitored every move, ensuring no one was harmed. When Victor called, frantic, I calmly replied, "Per HOA regulations, this is natural drainage for our shared resource." I can't violate policy, can I? By dawn, the aftermath was clear. Homes partially submerged, vehicles adrift, property damage in the tens of millions. Victor Kane's schemes unraveled under scrutiny, evidence of bribery and environmental violations surfacing. Summit Estates Corporation collapsed. Victor faced criminal charges. My pond remained. My sanctuary was restored, and I had become a local legend, the recluse who took on a corporate titan with nothing but water and careful planning. Standing beneath the sentinel, watching the mirrored sky, I thought about the choices I'd made. Was I a vigilante? A hero? Both? Justice had scars, not just on the guilty, but on those who wielded it. And sometimes, to defend what's right, one must embrace the power to destroy. Silverpine Valley returned to quiet. My pond flowed undisturbed, the water calm, reflecting the sky. But I would never forget how fragile freedom can be, or how far one man must go to protect it.